Tissue Engineering Group, led by Associate Professor Dr. Angela Hwei. Okay, so Dr. Angela obtained her bachelor degree in biotechnology from University of Malaysia. He received a master's degree under the supervision of two distinguished pathologists, Prof. Louis Laming and Prof. Chia at University Malaya, studying the association of telomerase and telomere length with cancer aggressiveness and cell immortality. And she was integrated by the similar expression of telomerase in proliferating stem cell that underlie a body reparative and regenerative capability. Okay, this led her to pursue her PhD in tissue engineering and regenerative medicine under the guidance of Risma Edros. Without further delay, I would invite Prof. Angela to present here the group research study activity.
Hi, Dr. Haikal, and good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Right. Okay. Let me share. Okay, I'm glad I'm given the last slot because this was all prepared quite last minute. All right, so I shall start with the corporate video rather than ending with it. So please enjoy.
Research Center of Excellence in Tissue Engineering, Regenerative Medicine, Stem Cell Research. Tissue Engineering Center, in short TEC, is a center of research excellence in tissue engineering and regenerative medicine. Established in 2008 under the Faculty of Medicine, UKM. To improve quality of life. To provide cure for diseases. Training and education. Technology transfer. Clinical translation and commercialization. CGMP is acronym for Current Good Manufacturing Practice, a quality standard that is internationally recognized as the best practice for manufacturing of therapeutic goods. It is a way to control the quality of the product throughout the process of manufacturing in order to ensure its safety and consistency fit for therapeutic use. The center has been focusing on deriving cells and tissues from patients and to cultivate and further manipulate these cells outside the patient's body and to be utilized back into the patients as therapeutic products. Various products have been developed in the center, including tissue-engineered skin, bone, cartilage, cornea, and so on. In the future, we will be focusing our efforts in translating these products in the clinical setting and to be made available and accessible to patients. More clinical trials will be conducted, such as Bluetooth for the repair of knee cartilage, my bone, my cornea for bone and cornea repair, respectively. We will also be focusing on our efforts in developing novel strategies using induced pluripotent stem cells and cell-derived products such as matrices, vesicles, and proteins. Skin tissue engineering was an initiative undertaken by the center in search for an alternative to split skin grafting. It is especially useful when patients do not have enough of their own skin to cover the large area of skin lesion, for example in cases of burns and serious traumatic injuries. completed clinical trial phase 1/2A in 2016, whereby 15 patients had been treated. Graft uptake was 100% for burns and traumatic wounds. The healing was excellent, and the final appearance of the skin was smooth with minimal skin contracture.
Except for by the founding of the center from the 2021 together with our former of center associate of Angela, center will continue to strive to become internationally recognized center of research in tissue engineering and therapeutic medicine. Continue pioneering the advancement and bridging our mission to improve the quality of life of patients and with that,
We play January.
Thank you. So that corporate video was taken from the CETEM, Center of Tissue Engineering and Regenerative Medicine. So let me talk about the research group. So term Tissue Engineering and Regenerative Medicine, or term in short, focuses on harnessing the self-healing and regenerative capacities of our body, and by understanding the integrative signaling pathways and incorporating solutions from stem cell or cell technologies, biomaterials, engineering, novel clinical approaches to repair, reconstruct, replace, or rejuvenate damaged or lost tissues and organs. That's mouthful, but in short, I would just highlight that it's all about regenerating tissues and organs using cell and material technology with the help of engineering and input from clinical approaches. So our research is very translation and sustainable focus. Translation meaning we have the output in mind before we initiate any research project, meaning we usually engage the end users, especially the clinicians, in understanding the problem in treating certain diseases, especially those involving injured tissues and organs. So with that in mind, understanding the problems or the current limitations, we would initiate, that's how we initiate a research project. Sustainable focus, meaning the theme on regeneration itself, it's about utilizing resources that is sustainable and regenerate, that we can reuse and regenerate. So in that sense, I think in this era, this theme is even more important as we aim toward a more sustainable way of research and also tapping sustainable resources. For example, using wasted or discarded tissues and cells from the clinic. We are also multidisciplinary focused. As I mentioned earlier, that engaging the clinicians is essential before the start of any project. And alongside, we would consult engineers, for example, material engineers, in probably suggesting what would be the suitable material for tissue engineering purposes. We are nature inspired because much of this regeneration happens in nature. So we get the inspiration by looking how nature does its work. In our pipeline of research, we would like to enable a bench to bedside with solutions on the whole pathway meaning we have the ability to look we have researchers focusing on the fundamentals and the applied side of the technology, and we will also involve especially the clinicians at the clinical trial stage, and the center has the capability of manufacturing many of these these products, including cell and gene therapeutic products. And in more recent years, we have been very actively engaging the industry to work towards a commercialization of our innovations. So I thought this is important to share a little history of the group. The group was founded way back in year 2000 by Dr. Aminuddin Saim and Prof. Dato' Uzima in the ENT department. So we have a lot of gratitude toward ENT department for housing the research group at its initial years, and we established a society, the first society in Malaysia on tissue engineering, which is named Tissue Engineering and Regenerative Medicine Society of Malaysia, or in short TESMA, in 2004. It was later being recognized as a center of research excellence by the Ministry of Education for UKM in 2008. And eventually, with that, we were also allocated a fund to build a GMP facility for cell and tissue processing. And with that, we had to be relocated to the 12th floor of the clinical block today. And the construction of GMP took almost 2 years, and it was completed in November 2011. And since then, we have ran a number of clinical studies and completed a clinical trial. So that's a brief history. I would probably clarify the relationship of term with the center and also the society. So term was the research group that was initiated, and as I mentioned, in 1999, and we have been engaging clinicians since then. And from our website, the SPI website, you can see that we have 55 members, and there are probably a number of members more. The only limitation was some of them were also involved in other research groups, and so therefore some of them couldn't choose our research group as one of their research group. So these are the 55 names, and we have also listed the research niche here, and you can look at their publication from the various databases. So we have within the group we also have postdocs and also science research officers, including PPSP. So that's, and TESMA is a society, is a national society that we encourage all members of TERM to join. It is the subscription fee is very minimal. I think it's only 50 ringgit for professional and 20 ringgit for students. It has to date 150 members across the nation. This is where we can interact with researchers from various institutions across Malaysia. And you can also look at its website, and it would have its own run its own activities as well. So as a member, there are many privileges, and the society also run its own journal, regenerative research, which you can submit to. And CETM as a center of excellence, as I mentioned earlier, it was it is located on the 12th floor. So it is a physical facility, and so members of TERM can be part of CETM, or they can opt not to be affiliated. I mean, an associate. They can be they can apply to be an associate research fellow with CETM. However, being associated an associated fellow of CETM would mean there are KPIs that you have to fulfill. But otherwise, being a term group member, you would have be recognized as an internal researcher, and you would have access to the many facilities in CETM, either without charge or sometimes with machines that are very costly to maintain. There will be a minimum charge to you. So in CETM, we have 14 members that include science and research officers. We have nine PIs, 9 research fellows to date. One just graduated from her PhD last month. So now we have 9 now, and the others are office science and research officers. And we have approximately 70 active postgraduates in the center. They could be postgraduates that are registered with TEC or in other departments, but attached to CETM for their research project. And you can access the CETM website, and you can they would run their own activities as well, and with many more services and training made available, in fact, to all. Okay. So how I see term group is me being a moderator in recruiting more, or to convert more academician into full-time, not full-time, into PIs one day, so that they can apply their own grant and be part of CETM, at least as an associate research fellow. So that's the function of term, and we actively also recruit science and research officers because we think that they are also a very crucial part of our research activities. So a term would be a feed towards TESMA and also CETM. In terms of research collaboration, we widely collaborate across departments and also faculties. So these are some of the research collaboration that are currently active. We have quite a number from the surgical departments. And in terms of course, with the research collaboration, we would have LOU, MOU, or project agreement or research agreement signed. And this graph here captures also some of these agreements signed with international collaborators and also industrial collaborators. And the group has filed quite a number of patents to date. Some are still at the filing stage, and quite a number has been awarded. Here you can see 4 has been awarded to date. In 2018 and 2021, as you can see, 8 patents were filed. And the facility in CETM has been certified with the quality standard ISO 9001 and also 17025 for running a number of testing on cells. So you can explore that. The hope is that all research that is conducted in this facility meets the international standard. And as a center, located in the clinical block itself, we actively collect discarded tissues from the operating theatre. This has been approved by the ethics committee, and we isolate primary cells, which are very valuable in medical research. So please, if you are looking for primary cells, something closer to the clinic rather than cell lines, please contact CETM, and they would probably work towards a certain discount for internal researchers. And apart from being a primary cell and tissue bank, CETM also has got a research facility not only on the 12th floor. There are animal facilities that has been established with UPM for sheep, in UKM Bangi for sheep and monkey. There's also a surgical theatre that we maintained in UKM Bangi Animal House. You can see the operation being performed in Bangi on monkeys and sheep. And on the 12th floor, we do house a small animal facility for rodents. As mentioned earlier, CETM also houses 3 clean rooms, and they are certified to be clean room that under the scope of cell and tissue processing. So with this compliance, researchers can come to us to contract manufacture their product for clinical trial or commercialization purposes. So these are 2 examples of products that we have manufactured in the clean room. One is skin, the other one is this is engineered skin, and the other one is engineered cartilage that is to be injected into the knee. And some of the commercialization initiatives that have been initiated are collagen patch for as a wound dressing, and bone constructs as bone substitutes, and also using secreted proteins isolated from cells for turning them into topical products. And CETM runs actively runs a postgraduate program and welcome interns and attachment students. All right. So there's music now. Okay, I'm using a template that probably has got a bit of animation. All right, so I would go into introducing the researchers. I think same as the earlier. Yeah, I didn't realize that the template has got a video. I'm so sorry because we didn't play it earlier. So I had to do it in this mode. Okay, my apologies, because otherwise the video will run on its own. So I will just introduce the current the PIs with current research titles. There are many more researchers in the list, but because they probably are not the lead for the project, so I will not highlight them. But they are, and some of their projects has completed, and they are in the process of applying new ones. I will just highlight the current the PIs with current research titles. This is Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Fauzi, who is also the head of CETM now. He leads the Functional Biomaterial Technology Program, and these are some of the titles of research that he is working on. He's very much into collagen, using ovine collagen to give and making them into hybrid material for cutaneous engineering or as wound dressing material. That's me. I started off doing a lot of neuromuscular skeletal engineering. As from the title, you appreciate that I work very closely with the orthopedic counterparts. And my personal interest is also very much into bioenergetics, looking at how we can harness the energy from mitochondria. And these are some of the project titles that I'm running currently. So I'm involved in tissue engineering of bone, mesenchymal stem cells, using mesenchymal stem cells for therapy, and also working together with the orthopedic surgeons on nerve conduits fabrication. And this is Associate Professor Dr. Yogesh Warren. He's into airway bioengineering. So therefore, he works closely with the ENT surgeons and with a focus on stem cell therapy. And these are some of the current titles that is running on. As you can see, maybe I'll just highlight one that is working on using even natural products for spinal cord regeneration. And Dr. Fazlina is also our senior research fellow here in CETM. She leads the induced pluripotent stem cell program and also viral vector technology program. And these are some of the project titles that is running. So the highlight would be using iPSC from patients to generate to differentiate them into certain tissue line or certain cell line to study disease development. One example is this, where the cells were taken from, the fibroblasts were taken from patients with mitochondrial defect. These are patients with a genetic problem where their mitochondria is defective, and using the fibroblasts from them, we were able to induce them into pluripotent stem cells, and from there we derived neurons from this patient and look at how their neurons behave. And the potential is just huge using this technology. Next, we have Dr. Daniel. Dr. Daniel started with tendon bioengineering and is now very much an expert in driving exosome therapy. These are the research titles that is running now, and a lot of focus is on the upscaling of MSc so that we can have a sustainable source of extracellular vesicles or exosomes for therapy. Next, we have Dr. Dain, who leads the Integrative Cell Signaling Program. These are the titles of his research, and he also collaborates across department. For example, the one on vagina agenesis is with the ONG department. And the one with vascular research is with the surgical department. Then we have Nadia. Nadia Sulaiman leads the cardiovascular bioengineering program. And therefore she works with the cardiothoracic surgeons, closely with work closely with them, and she currently heads an international grant, the Newton grant, that which allows her to collaborate with researchers in the UK, which is very successful. Next, we have Dr. Manira Ma'aruf. She heads the cutaneous tissue engineering and secretome program. These are some of the research titles. The topical solution using secretomes from fibroblasts is that I featured earlier as a commercial product, was a product of innovation. Then we have Dr. Atika, who have just completed her PhD. She will be heading the proteomics and bioactive compounds discovery program. And her study, it's about neurodegeneration. And in her PhD, she works on snake venom and looking at the different bioactive compounds and how it works on the neurons. Just to feature some of the product that we have translated, as I mentioned earlier, Kulitku or Maidem. This was headed by our founder, Professor Rizima, who now acts as our advisor for CETEM. So this product has completed phase 1 and 2, and a spin-off company was incorporated to commercialize Maidem. And now we have Prof. Hamdan and Dr. Rizal from the orthopedic department driving a phase 1/2 clinical trial using stem cells derived from patients to be injected into the knee. This is enabled by the Lab to Market grant. And we have Associate Professor Dr. Nur Hazla from Orthopedics Department as well. She's the PI to quite a number of research on bone and also nerve. Next, we also have Associate Professor Dr. Shalima from Orthopedic Department, again heading a number of research projects on nerve regeneration and in her study, she fabricated a novel synthetic nerve conduit that has been patented. Then we have Professor Muhammad Yazid from Orthopedics Department as well, who works on using stem cells from patients for diabetic ulcers. And previously, I worked closely with Dr. Yazid on developing a kind of bone graft, and in fact, we have run 2 clinical. We have used this bone graft on in 2 clinical cases, and a patient recovered wonderfully, and we are now exploring grants with the industry to run the clinical trial. Then we have Dr. Ikram from Biochem, and these are the research titles, and I collaborate with him on these 2 projects on using nano HA for treating bone fracture. Earlier on, if you were here in the first presentation, Associate Professor Dr. Wan Haslina works also closely with CETEM on these various titles. One on the retinal regeneration, cell regeneration. The other one is this contact lens cultivated limbal epithelial transplantation, which she has patented. and now we are looking at the potential of securing grants from the industry. Then we also work with Prof. Jemima from ophthalmology department, and again using contact lens as a potential scaffold for ocular engineering. And we have Dr. Marina, and this was a previous study with us. Then currently with the project headed by Dr. Mawada, which I didn't have the title in time. So anyway, they are running projects related to ENT research. Then last but not least, we have our chairperson here, Muhammad Haikal bin Muhammad Yunus, and he currently has two research projects with us. One is funded by FRGS and the other one by GUP, looking at cartilage, looking at OA cartilage, their signaling pathways. Okay, so I think with that, that's all from term. In fact, there's so much to explore from the website itself. But if you have any inquiries and you would like to explore collaborations or even just to brainstorm your ideas with us, please contact me. These are my contact details. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Haikal.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prof. Angela. So thank you for the precise presentation. So I think this is the end of the showcase and the symposium for today. So we really hope that I hope that you have found this symposium is very informative and useful. So thank you for spending time with us today. So and don't forget to join us again in the next session, okay, for poster presentation tomorrow and also morning coffee with a distinguished speaker. All right, for that, I thank you. Thank you, everyone.